He walked into hell with nothing but his faith, and came out a hero. Desmond Doss didn't carry a rifle. He didn't fire a single shot. And yet, on the blood-soaked cliffs of Okinawa, he became one of the most remarkable heroes of World War II, not by taking lives, but by saving them. Desmond Thomas Doss was born in 1919 in Lynchburg, Virginia, to a working-class family. He grew up during the Great Depression in a deeply religious Seventh-day Adventist household. His beliefs were simple but strong: honor God, protect life, and never cause harm to another human being. From a young age, Desmond took the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," literally. After a childhood incident involving a fight with his brother and seeing the impact of violence firsthand, he vowed never to touch a weapon. It was a conviction that would be tested far beyond what anyone could imagine. When World War II broke out, Desmond felt compelled to serve his country, but he also knew he couldn't violate his conscience. He enlisted in the Army, not as a combatant, but as a combat medic, someone who would run into danger, not to kill, but to heal. It sounded noble, but to many of his fellow soldiers, it sounded crazy. During basic training, Doss was ridiculed, harassed, and even assaulted by his own unit. He refused to carry a rifle or train on Saturdays due to his Sabbath observance. Some called him a coward, others tried to get him discharged, but Doss never fought back. Not with fists, not with hate, not with anger. He stood firm, not to prove anything, but because he believed in something bigger than himself. Eventually, the Army had no choice but to allow him to serve as a non-combatant medic, and then came in 1945, American forces launched one of the bloodiest and most brutal battles of the Pacific Theater, the Battle of Okinawa. The objective was to take Hacksaw Ridge, a towering escarpment where Japanese soldiers were entrenched in a network of caves and tunnels. It was a death trap. Men were cut down as soon as they reached the top. Desmond's unit was sent in. Chaos erupted, bullets flew, shells exploded, dozens of soldiers fell, and through it all, Doss stayed behind. Alone, after his unit was forced to retreat, while others ran for cover, Desmond ran into fire, dragging wounded men to the edge of the cliff and lowering them to safety using ropes and a makeshift pulley system. He didn't stop for hours. He kept going, praying with every trip. "Lord, help me get one more." Over and over. One more life, one more soul, one more brother. By the end of the night, he had rescued 75 men, one by one, without a weapon, without backup, with nothing but faith and a fierce, unshakable compassion. When his comrades found out what he had done, the teasing stopped. The ridicule turned to awe. The man they had once mocked as a coward had become the bravest among them. But Doss's heroism didn't end there. He was wounded multiple times in later battles, refusing to be a victim. At one point, he treated his own injuries with a rifle stock as a splint, and waited 5 hours before being rescued. Even then, he gave up his stretcher for someone else. In October 1945, Desmond Doss returned home. That same year, he became the first conscientious objector in American history to receive the Medal of Honor, awarded personally by President Harry S. Truman. The president shook his hand and said, "You deserve this more than any man I've ever met." Despite his recognition, Doss never saw himself as a hero. He rarely spoke about his wartime experience, choosing instead a quiet life of farming, faith, and family. He suffered from injuries sustained in the war for the rest of his life, but never expressed regret. His story, for many years, remained largely unknown to the public. That changed in 2016, with the release of the film Hacksaw Ridge, which introduced Desmond Doss's life to a new generation. But even that powerful portrayal can't fully capture the depth of his conviction. Desmond Doss didn't fight with bullets or bombs. He fought with love. In the face of war's worst horrors, he held on to his belief that life, every life, was worth saving. His courage reminds us that heroism isn't always loud. It doesn't always wear armor or carry a sword. Sometimes, it kneels beside the wounded, whispers a prayer, and risks everything to bring someone home. He died in 2006 at the age of 87, having lived a full life rooted in service, humility, and quiet faith. His legacy lives not just in medals or movies, but in the lives of those he saved. And in the idea that true strength is not in how many enemies you conquer, but in how many lives you lift. Desmond Doss proved that the bravest thing a person can do is to hold on to their humanity, even when the world around them has lost it.